Guys, what is the energy? Okay, you know what? Every now and then I will, um, y'all, now I'm regretting, like, should I, anyway, every now and then I'll have like a car session with you guys. I'll be driving, doing whatever, or I'm walking out on the trails, whatever the case is. And I was so called and inspired and just got it to do like one of those sessions this morning. As a side note, let me just tell you, I do like these morning routines that I've been trying to really discipline myself to take advantage of the cold weather. And it's like bare feet on the ground, doing somatic body exercises, doing stretching, doing tapping, all these good circulation flow practices, right? Anyway, y'all, 27 degrees was like a different level. Let me tell you, I was so proud of myself last week because it was like 33 degrees and consistently closer to 30. Ooh, yeah. 27 hit different. Let me just tell you, 27 degrees. I'm going to shuffle the pre-Raphaelite tarot. Yes, I know, right? It is rare, really, that I check in more than once a week. But I'm just telling you, like, first of all, lately, I would love to hear how your dream space has been. With Saturn previously in Pisces, Neptune has moved direct. I mean, Neptune's been in Pisces for a hot minute now. Okay, years literally. And I don't know. It's just dream space is something else. I don't know about you personally, but excuse me. I'm gonna smudge and then I'm gonna light some incense. Where is my incense that I've been obsessed with lately that has cinnamon and sandalwood in it? I'm really picky about my cinnamon incense, y'all, because listen, sometimes it's just not the right spicy burn smell. I don't even know how to articulate it. It's almost like it's trying to be sweet, or it's almost overly cinnamon, with that heavy fragrance incense or whatever. But this one is just right. Let me tell you, the dream downloads. Now this incense not going to want to cooperate with me. I'm going to put him over here. So I have this practice and I'll tell you about it real quick. And my dream space is really evolving, but me personally has just never been, I will say, my medium. Some people, they do a lot of astral projection, dream work, all these different things. But anyway, dream space has not always been a place that I will go to receive messages and guidance and stuff. I'm sure we all like occasionally have dreams and stuff, right? And of course you're going to journal those and take note from them accordingly. But I receive a lot of guidance and a lot of different things and a lot of different modalities. But with that being said, let me just tell you, in case you ever want to try it out, I have this practice where I will wake up very early in the morning and intentionally grab earbuds or whatever the case may be. To me, I'm not trying to meditate. That's a whole different space. But I'll put some sort of I tend to go shamanic with it. I'll put something on my earbuds and kind of set the intention, like if there's any messages I want to receive, right? That my guides and my team and higher self, et cetera, however you work with your own team and spirit, right? That they would let me know if there's any messages. So I've been working on that for months and just throughout some time this year and developing that kind of space as well. Really just to kind of see if I can develop it more. Now, excuse me, it's been turned way up a notch lately. Excuse me, I kind of hit a point in the summer, and it makes sense to me, because you have this super pristine high level, photonic light type energy. There's different energies are at peak, and then it kind of waned a while. So, if you've never tried that, it's basically like your brain waves hit different, right? You're in between, fully asleep, we could get real technical and name all the brain waves and whatnot. But the point is that you can possibly attune yourself to receive and download whatever, these different messages, because your brain will be in a more receptive space to hear your higher self or your divine spirit or your team or whatever. Right? So anyway, be welcome to try that, and then at some point what I'll do is I basically, look, somebody's going to be like, you should try this with a dream journal. Y'all, I'm telling you, I keep a journal. And I will write notes down, as much as I can remember, but, I cannot write in the dark. And let me just tell you what happens as soon as I turn, even if it's a candle, a small light, on, like at bedside, right? It's just like, it leaves me so quickly. So what I've done to the best of my ability now is, you have like a little, note-taking app on your phone or something, right? Is I'll just grab my phone and try my best not to really tune into any kind of screen or anything. And I'll just pull up my little notepad and just the things that stick out to me, right? And then that way it's still dark. It's very, very, very fresh in my mind. It's really fun to reinterpret like later when you want to put the notes in your journal, but I do my best to type it. Anyway, we were just talking yesterday in the is like collective for whoever needs it, right? We were talking about the prominent energy of of Mercury retrograde, and I was having, I've kind of been welcoming in new guides, but I was having this very strong experience in this morning space. And it was basically like a very, it felt like really Nordic, but it was a grandmotherly energy. Okay. But y'all, it was not your normal grandmotherly energy. We were talking about Mercury in Capricorn, retrograde in Capricorn. It was like, sitting down at the table with your nanny or your mama. However, y'all, okay, it's in the South down here, but whatever affectionate title, abuela, whoever, whatever. You're sitting down with that grandmother figure, and it's a very crone energy, and it's the kind that, does not play. She will feed you. Y'all are going to handle the business. And if you pull up at her table and you have some of her coffee, her tea, whatever, she is not going to shoot you no shit. You know what I mean? Are you going to be well fed? Yes. Is her home going to be stable? Is she going to have everything right and tight? Yeah, she will, but she's about to tell you what it is that you came to hear. Y'all know the motherly, grandmotherly, crone, wise crone energy I'm talking about. And so in this dream experience, it was like, she was dressed very, gosh, I don't know. I mean, to me, it was very Nordic, and I see the image in my mind so clearly, but it was like, she had very long gray hair. It was plaited, like it had different type of braids in it. But it was long and gray. Like you could tell her face was very aged, very crone, you know what I'm saying? But wise, like kind, but we ain't going to be about no shit today. Like she's real kind, and she would probably save a wounded animal, but she might just catch a bear clutch with her bare hand, you know what I'm saying? And be like, not today, bear. That's the vibe, right? Grandmother, Capricorn energy. And she was, do you ever have this experience where your guide, your ancestor, your spirit guide, whatever, like, what else did she look like? She had some kind of jacketed, it was a lot of fur. It was a lot of like tan colors. She had fur, like, boots. I mean, it's what you would kind of expect to see. If you're in the snow and you're cold, and she was out doing something, and I can't remember, she had something in her hand. Anyway, it wasn't the point. Y'all know what I'm talking about when a guide is talking to you, but they're not talking to you. And it's just, could you say clairaudience? I think there's different forms of clairaudience. Like you have a clairaudience, and it's like, I specifically heard someone's name, clear as day in my ear or something, or you ask people in a room, it's like mediums or something. And you're like, I have never really had these experiences, by the way, but I'm a very visual person. It's how I receive a lot of information. I also do like automatic writing, journaling, studying, but I'll go into kind of automatic writing modes, and I will receive a lot as I am writing, like for my guides and stuff. Hard to describe. What's the Claire for that? I can't remember. Like a knowing. Like, I don't know how to tell you, it was in my mind, but it was just in my mind, right? But this was so different. It was like she was talking to me, but her lips weren't moving, but I heard her so clearly in my mind. And she was talking to me about just different. I don't want to, there were intimate things that she shared. But it was just this tone of warning as well. I'll say that the overarching tone of her as a guide, now, and I feel like she really was embodying this Mercury in Capricorn spirit. Mind you, yes, Mercury's in retrograde. Feel free to, I normally check in about once a week if it's not a new moon or a full moon, if I'm not doing, booked up with personal one-on-one work and whatnot. But it was just, like I said, I was literally gonna throw us on, and I was gonna do like a car video, because it was just this very, very, it was so strong, like her energy and her presence, and it was like I was in a dream, but I wasn't in a dream, you guys. You know how in astral travel, yes, we could debate, like about lucid dreaming. We'd have all these different conversations. Are you astral traveling here or there? Or is this when you're doing it? Right? This is not what we're doing today. My point is, I didn't have a dream with her and then I wrote it down and interpreted it, really. I was in that other space where I was already kind of awake, but not fully back asleep. And I feel like she was literally just coming to me in some kind of astral place to meet me, to talk to me, right? If you kind of understand, if you've done different modalities of meditation, if you've had dreams, if you had different experiences, you kind of get what I mean when I say it really wasn't a dream, right? And what she was trying to stress to me is that you're going to understand, and this is kind of tracking with the Sagittarian energy in the collective, the further that we progress into the age of Aquarius, the powerful Schumann resonance solar flare, we could connect the dots of a lot of things. And it's been an overarching collective theme and message, whether you look at astrology, whether you look at tarot readings, whatever the cases that you look at. I want to say clairvoyant gifts, people's sixth sense, people's telepathic, we will make a broad category and say gifts will be increasing. Their spiritual awareness, their sense, their intuition. We're receiving a lot of well, we could make another video another day about why that's happening, because I could really go on and eat up some time about a lot of things that have been happening. I'm about to go off about the photonic light energy and the water in our bodies and the waves, and how we're being upgraded, and how we are fine-tuning our DNA, all these things. We could do this. So I'm assuming, because you're here, you're tracking with me. You understand what I'm saying? The spirit guide, who again was very maternal, very wise crone. I'm in the forest, doing whatever it is that I need to do. You guys know how I feel about being in the forest and always being in nature. So it was appropriate that this archetype, as my team and higher self wanted to present to me, showed up in this way. Makes complete sense to me, especially with my ancestry and my own actual DNA and whatnot. She was stressing that you're going to be receiving a lot more gifts. You're going to be fine-tuning your gifts. Other gifts are going to be activated. And this is common message in the collective right now, right? And you may be experiencing this for yourself. And I would encourage you to try to give yourself outlets to, whether it is challenging yourself to record your dreams, going out in nature, recording animal, deva spirits, plants, tree. I mean, there's a ton of different things you can make note. It's really important to confirm your synchronicities that you're having with the universe, with your dreams, especially as if, listen, the person who was my apprenticeship teacher, a decade ago, more than a decade ago, she apprenticed to someone else more than a decade ago. Okay. So we understand in our, we'll say soul family or collective, and there's many of them, and for good reason. I've been going at my spiritual awakening for more than a decade, right? But and then my teacher, and more than one teacher, but my first like initiatory teacher, right? She had been before me, and so now we are having people in the collective now, is like amplifying, quickening, you know, that have never really, so it was like, what, how do I even start having a spiritual hygiene? Like everything is brand new to a lot of people right now. And so it's like you have to remind yourself of this, right? And so the guide was just trying to, I think, impress upon me that there's a lot of gifts, you know, clairaudience, clairsentient. Is it clairsentience? Yes, like the knowing, clairvoyance. A lot of the, we'll say, as I was taught, the clairs, right, are going to be enhancing. And so in her way of, and I'm not going to delve into everything that was personal to me between she and I, in her way, she was also trying to impress that it is really important that we understand that in order to make room for things to grow and to evolve, we absolutely remember yesterday in the when we were doing the reading for whoever, and we were talking about the astrology and whatnot. You remember how it was so strong, that overwhelming energy of don't put the drawbridge down, and that it was almost like she adamantly came and appeared to reiterate the message that and this is what I was feeling like overwhelming this morning, was that it's like when the light, I'm talking about energetically, let's say when the energetic hum is amplified, when you are on the grid and you stake your claim in the grid and the light expounds, the energetic currency is very, very strong. You know, there will be moths to come to the flame. There will also be, you know, it's almost like the comeback energy is so much stronger in the season right now. And it is so important to have discipline with your mental, your physical, your spiritual hygiene, to have clarity in your vision, you know, in your crown chakra and your third eye, to be rooted and grounded in the clarity of who you are, and to really just embrace that crone. You know how it's like, again, we were talking about yesterday, it's like you would go sit down, let's say in this example, at your granny's table, and you'd be like, oh, you know, I'm having this problem. And then she would be telling you that real stuff that you didn't want to hear. Is this type of energy. It's like, it's so important to pay attention right now to who you let have access to your energy. I don't know. It is this overwhelming energy that, like, people's gifts are going to be expounded upon. Spirit is saying, you know, as how I'm hearing is like expounded upon, greatly amplified. And number one, that takes discipline to manage. Also, a lot of times when you have this sort of surge like this, you know, because we've had all this Sagittarius energy, we still have Mars and Sag. We will come to the winter solstice on Thursday. And then, of course, you know, slowly but surely, the days will begin to get longer again. The nights will begin to get shorter again. And I don't know if it's like a peak point of, it's like the amplification leading us up to the longest night. Do you know what I mean? In the shortest day. Also, now I'm thinking of the fact that I'm doing these offerings and booking one-on-one work with people. And you can feel free to email me if this resonates with you. But we've been talking about the sun conjunct with the galactic center, which happens every year. And the sun conjunct the galactic center is happening, if I'm not mistaken. I think that window opens today. And then we'll lead up, to the winter solstice, as some will call Yule. So it's like you have this interesting duality. Do you know what I'm saying? Of like, the galactic center, the amplification, this cosmic energy, the wisdom of not only your ancestral, your actual physical human DNA ancestors here, but your galactic ancestors. We have kind of this amplification of like this interesting wormhole, at this time of the year. And then we also have this happening once again right around this time where there's an interesting climax, an interesting axis point. Of it being the longest night and the shortest day, right? So I can kind of understand why the energy feels the way that it does, but you also have to realize, and this could be with our ancestors and our guides, our team and higher self, and these different archetypes, masters, angelic, however you look at it, right? However you look at it. And you may just say it's my ancestors and it's my higher self. However you articulate that, that's you with you. That's you with your archetypes and your guides, right? It may be even of a super important, with the message being impressed upon us, because of the way that Pluto is really going to kick it into gear with Aquarius next year. And that's going to be 2 decades long in experience. And, we're not getting into that today, but okay. Death to everything that does not allow us to evolve, but that is a longer process than sometimes our human minds can comprehend. And when we want to really embrace and stand up in a true Aquarian signature of energy and say, nah, really, but fuck that whole last 2,000 years, death to it all. We want to birth something better. Okay, you realize the level of sacrifice that takes? That's going to be some blood, sweat, and tears for real, for real. Some of that which you're already seeing, but we're not going to go on and make a video about Pluto's real shift, because this is just the beginning. So I'm saying I can understand, and maybe that's our guides just kind of saying in our team and higher self, and us with us, in our higher dimension, saying, hey, it's really time for you to get fucking serious right now, okay? And you need to understand that some energies will attempt to, it's almost like Spirit is saying is like, some energies will attempt to hold you in astral, in karmic limbo, in cycles that kind of have you hanging between. There's some sort of, it's a super important energy to note if this message is resonating with you. It must be for someone, because I normally don't just hop on every day and give messages. Is very specific and very like, again, it's like that your grandmother is giving very much like, you shall not pass. Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is like, honey, if they make it past the buck on this cold ass trail in these woods and your ancestor's standing there with, maybe she got an axe in her hand or something. I don't know what she has. I don't put it past this Capricorn grandmother, whoever she was. Okay. My ancestor, be she Nordic or be she whatever she was not about to be about no bullshit, okay? And it was a very much, you shall not pass. So it's kind of like, it almost gives me this energy of like, is someone trying to speak to you or reach out to you that you've already put energetic boundaries up with for a specific reason? Spirit is saying you would know exactly. Is there a repeating pattern? Let's say, I'm just giving a specific example. I know that I've been called to change my body to support maybe my spiritual growth. I know that I've been called, let's say, for example, to change some of the energetics of what with the foods that I'm putting in my body. Maybe you've been called. It's like, I know I've been called. I need to, when I say I've been called, do you know what I'm saying? Is you with you and your higher self and your team and your resonance, your intuition. That's that whole checklist. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know what? I can't drink anymore. I just can't. I know. So it's a very specific energy. And again, I will say with Venus and Scorpio, and the North Node having been shifted into Aries and the South Node in Libra, there is a magnifying glass on relationships, I will say. So I'll tell you this much. If there are relationships that are not healthy, that pull you back into your karma, that pull you back into repetitious life cycles, and it's like, you should be graduated by now, we are not doing this, is giving very much the ancestors on the trail, and it's like, we got to go up this mountain because we got shit to do, we don't have time for you to be playing back here. This is the energy that it was giving. It was like a very serious energy. And so I just thought, and it was very much I had the Ray-Bans on it, everything. It was very much one of our car driving messages talking about, look, somebody's ancestor today, mine included, are like, look, we are not, it's like love and light. We are not fucking playing. You know what I mean? It's the type of grandmother that would tell you to get up out her table talking about all that silly mess that she's done tried to tell you about so many times. Why you even come over here to eat some biscuits and drink some coffee? Like I wasn't going to tell you the same shit. It's very much like you already have the t-shirt. You have already been to the circus. Okay? It's almost like a make it or break it point. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay. And it definitely could be a warning, and warnings are great, and warnings sometimes, hold on. Look, the High Priestess coming out with the King of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. I'm not surprised at all. The High Priestess. There is our wise, divine, feminine intuition with the King of Cups, reminding us not to let our feelings run the show. Even though we listen to our intuition, that's double confirmation to listen to your intuition. The Nine of Pentacles confirms that you have been working really hard to build lots of things, whether it's your home, your business, your abundance within your own body, like what you've literally manifested for yourself, right? It's very much like if you're not able to, why is the High Priestess with the King of Cups is feeling very much like if you're really not able to glean this from your intuition and the depth of your own divine perception. If you can't see this by now, what is it? Why am I hearing that song? If you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever know me. Okay? It's like your spirit guides, your ancestor, your team, and higher self are like, we're tired of playing about this, okay? Do you understand that if we could show you a few chapters ahead how stupid it is, no offense intended, I'm just channeling, and somebody's ancestors, again, mine included, are kind of tired. They're like, we are not doing this again. Now, this definitely could be, I would say this definitely could be on the astral. Do you know what I mean? You may have very strong energetic boundaries, your spiritual, your mental, your emotional hygiene. And this is just more for your confirmation. Do it's never a case of, let me try to make this fit and get myself all out of alignment. If you good, you might be good. Your ancestors, your team, and higher self may just be saying, hey, we got you on the astral, right? Like, you don't even have to move. You be over there about your business because you're exactly where you need to be. You're doing what you need to do, and we're going to look out for you, no worries. Okay, so you have to take it as you will. Follow your own intuition first and foremost. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But I'm saying, guys, well, I always tell you, Mercury Retrograde has a way of kind of saying, oh, if you were not completely sure at this point, right? Ooh, my garden looks really nice, but why am I kind of glancing back just a tiny bit? Because, I was just kind of wondering, your ancestor, that bird of prey on your shoulder, talking about, why are you looking back at all? What do you even talk? Why is she even thinking about this, right? Oh, I thought she closed that account. Oh my gosh, I thought they didn't even have your number anymore, right? This is like your guides and your team and spirit on the on the astral, maybe like in the with your higher dimensional self. And then it's this energy of like, the High Priestess and the Cups. Like, if you did not know by now, sometimes when we are in these cycles, Mercury retrograde loves to, especially in Capricorn, because it's not even going to play about it. If you glance back just a tiny bit at that toxic past relationship, at that toxic ex energy, of that friend that you know you shouldn't be chilling with, at that dinner party you know you have no business, you told yourself you were going to have boundaries and look out for yourself and not put yourself in these toxic cycles. You've learned, you've grown, you've had a massively expansive, like mind blowing, whether it's spiritual, emotional, abundantly, physically, maybe all three. Good for you. I love that for you in 2023. But I'm saying, if you have had these kind of cycles and then you get that little, you know what I mean, in Mercury retrograde, because your ancestors, your team and spirit, you know, in the higher dimensions and such as this, they know you. It's you with you. You're literally the universe. Okay, love you, but so you're not going to trick yourself. So it's like if you're looking back over your shoulder just for a millisecond, Mercury retrograde, real quick in this grandmother, this crone energy, will say, let me show you something real quick that I know you didn't see before, just so I can let you know that this is really the exact bullshit that you think it is. Yes, that person is still on their shit. Yes, they still want to ride your coattails, but look, it's like they have not changed. These people have not evolved. Yes, they are doing the same thing, Mercury retrograde, because it is a divine intercession time with your ancestors and your guides. You already know me. I'll tell you, it's like having GPS. They'll say, we did not drive this far all year long to let her wreck this car right before she gets up here and turns where she's supposed to turn. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to throw up an interception on her. And sometimes it'll be the opposite, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it'll be, listen, there are many different dimensional energetic planes, many different vibrational frequencies, and ideally we want to be evolving and resonating and vibrating as we grow to the point where it's like, oh, I'm up here on this highway, I can't even see back in my rearview mirror, so they could never even touch me with their bullshit. This is the type of energy, right? Sometimes there are very adamant cycles in our life, in a continuance from past life. We have these different soul contracts. We have these different agreements, you know, have or have not been completed. And then sometimes it's just a very stubborn, it's almost like, you know, you guys, we are a part of this very black, this very dark, very inorganic, very inverted, backwards assed ghetto matrix, right? Okay. And so sometimes there's just vibrations and there's just energies of things that it's like a jealousy because you are progressing. I want to hold you back because I can't go with you. It can be very clingy, very sticky, very webby, it's funny because the smoke is like pillowing around my selenite sphere, right? As I was talking about, it's like clingy, it's like sticky, you know? Mercury retrograde, again, in Capricorn, with the guide showing up and being very adamant. I don't want you to miss the huge point here, though. The huge point is that this Capricorn energy wants to help you clear out everything that is not essential for your highest and best good in your mental body. And that includes a bunch of cat that wants to be in your ear. That includes a bunch of DMs, text messages, phone calls you ain't even supposed to be receiving anyway. That includes if I need to, so-and-so, girl, that's the craziest thing. So do you see so-and-so took a screenshot and sent me a picture? Do you remember so-and-so? And you haven't even thought about them and who knows how long, and you look at the picture and you're like, oh, look at that. So, you know what I'm saying? Your spirit guides and your ancestors and your team is you with you, is all working together to help you evolve to your highest and best good, if that's what you're calling in for yourself, right? And there was just with the guide and the dream space and the way that she was talking to me, the point was, there are gifts, there are huge evolutionary shifts for you in your mental body if you'd like to receive them. As a matter of fact, a lot of the light in the way that has been working, I'm speaking of energy, I'm speaking of photonic things that are literally going down into your crown chakra. They've been doing that all year, and they will only become more amplified, right? Again, kind of like yesterday we were talking about, it's not a matter of have I received the gifts, the packages, right? Think of Yule, Christmas, holidays, whatever you celebrate. I ain't going to debate that shit with y'all today. Love and light, okay? These gifts are already there. Your wise grandmother, guiding spirit, she wants to protect you to make sure that you can unpack and receive your gifts. But if, let's say, you want to go to your grandchildren's house and you've bought them all these nice things, or maybe we'll reference, because I made these references before, earlier in the year. You want to sit down at the table and let your grandchildren or your great grandchildren know it's time for you to receive your inheritance. Let's open these gifts. But then you get in the house and it's full of roaches and it's a mess and it's is murky. Or is so full of stuff already that doesn't really mean anything, that you can't even sit down to try to unpack their gifts with them. You get the metaphor, you get the example that I'm trying to give you here, something like this, okay? Why would you unpack the gifts there? It would not, because then they would either leak out and drain everywhere, or they would get lost in the chaos, or no one would be able to enjoy, expound upon, and really utilize the gifts for the highest and best good, because there's so much chaos, or there's so much Spirit is saying too muchness going on in the house already, right? Why would they bestow those gifts there? It's this type of energy. It's like a guide stopping you in the winter on the path. Well, actually, I guess you would say we're getting ready to really shift technically into winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. Is very much giving like, hey, we're going into winter. We need you to be in this mode right here. Do you know what I mean? Now, this definitely could be, if it applies to you, take it as you will, divine masculine, King of Cups in the shadow is someone who likes to manipulate people's emotions. We don't want a high priestess. It's not about gender. I'm just talking about the energy of the cards. We don't want that to distract us. We want to be inaccessible to that type of manipulation or emotional distraction. You know what I mean? Because we've already had enough cycles. Someone sitting at the 9 of Pentacles here has already been through cycles. She's about to be at the 10 of Pentacles. As a matter of fact, it even further impresses the message. Do you know what I'm saying? It further impresses the message that you're moving to a 10 of Pentacles level, right? So you don't have time to be distracted by things like emotional manipulation, or it's not your circus. You've already gotten the t-shirt. Please do not let the person ride back on the coattails. Please do not even entertain the conversation. If you can avoid even being caught up in that silly ass room, Spirit is saying, please don't even go there. Is like you're moving differently. You have different plans that are of a whole different tier, right? The high priestess over here, I mean, she's studying on different levels of things, right? She doesn't have time for it. So I would definitely strongly encourage you, if you resonate with this message, I would encourage you to set your energetic boundaries wisely and call on your ancestors, your guides, your team, and higher spirit to remove the rest. Right? Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, again, is really big on if it's not essential, if it is not helping us rebuild stronger foundations, if it is not creating to our spiritual, our mental, our physical stability, we're not entertaining it. So I don't know, it may be like you are struggling with it, with something that has poked its head back into your life as a huge distraction. Do not allow it to pop in and create a space for emotional manipulation. And just be really wise about holding up your energetic boundaries. And this is mental. Holding up energetic boundaries is in the mind, is in the heart space. And of course, yeah, it literally starts in the physical, where you learn to tell people, no, I'm good. No, I'd rather not talk. No, I don't think I'm going to be there, because you don't want your presence to be there, you know. But I'm going to tell you what, like, Narcissism is real. Energetic manipulation is real. Intentional toxicity, thought projection, wonky games on the astral, all these things are real. So it's really kind of like in this winter time, before we shift into 2024, you need to be on your spiritual, your mental, your physical, your emotional, you need to be on your hygiene game, right? It needs to be right. It needs to be tight. It needs to be disciplined. We need to be able to take ownership of our no. We need to know where we are focusing our attention. Okay, in the King of Cups, not on the shadow side, but the King of Cups is very wide. He has emotional intelligence and he is deeply in connection with his emotions, but he understands how to return back to a stable emotional base. He has his tools, he has his meditation, he knows his rituals, he understands the mantras he says to himself. He understands that emotional intelligence is not is yeah, do I understand people? Absolutely. I have empathy. I have compassion. I'm full of understanding, but I'm not a fool and I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm also not going to be pulled down, to different levels that I've already evolved from, right? Remember, this has been a Cancerian ruled year where we've done a lot of work in the emotional body. So we don't want, I don't even know why, it's like the ancestors just keep stressing. And again, even if this was for one person, if it was a very specific message, the ancestors are just stressing like something about the comeback game is about to be real strong. And this could be just such a huge karmic level shift that's going on this year, which makes sense to me for a lot of different reasons. It's giving like that a lot of doors that's going to be that even started closing in Scorpio season that will continue to close. The winter is going to be real quiet and a lot of people are not going to, they're not going to like that, because it's kind of like when we shift up from this, it's not going to be they won't even, they'll look for the door to access you and they won't even be able to see the door anymore. It's that type of level of shift. And it's not, I'm good, you're bad, this is whatever. I mean, you can label it accordingly for your own situation, but it's more like, High Priestess energy. I have been called to the business that I need to be about. I don't have time for this. Love and light. Hope you heal. Hope you evolve. You're going to do it over there, because when you come back to look for my door, when you come back and walk on this path where you saw my footprints in the snow before, me and that guide that was speaking to me, we're going to be in a whole different forest. You won't even find us. You'll walk in circles on these trails and you won't even find us, right? It's that kind of energy. But the unfortunate thing is sometimes if we don't learn how to fully close the doors, is this energy of people love to manipulate and take advantage of that. Fully close the door, fully close the door. We don't stand in a garden. How disrespectful, the spirit guides and the ancestors are saying, how disrespectful is it? You got a powerful, what would that be, like a falcon, right? Sitting on your shoulder, your ancestors, your team and higher self have worked so hard to get so progressed as to a place to be in the Nine of Pentacles and an abundance of a garden. And you've got the audacity to peek back over your shoulder. You need to be careful with that. Why is it giving? What is that story? Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm not religious, but I mean, there's a lot of appropriate metaphorical references in biblical texts. And I'm just saying, if you know, you know, okay? Oh, you're going to look over your shoulder now? Child, I'm going to tell you right now, where they are, you don't want to be there when Pluto shifts full on into Aquarius. Okay? No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm going to need you to, it's like, remember the video where the friend comes and tilts his friend's chin up? Your spirit guides are like, listen, we need you to keep your eyes on the prize. All right? This is what you're over here doing. This is what you're looking at. You're doing the things that you have been called to do. All right? You have to understand, people are just like, ooh, black magic and spell work. That's not always I'm sitting and chanting. Now, let me tell you what, on the real, you hit it. It can be. And don't fool yourself by thinking those people don't do that. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. But the point is that's not the only, mental projection is real. Wanting people to fail is real. Wanting people to continue to remain vulnerable, stuck in between karmic cycles where they can't turn their wheel to make that full completion so that you can still reach their toe just enough to hold them is like in suspension. That's real. Right? Emotional manipulation is black magic. Narcissism is black magic. All these different things, we go on. And I'm not talking about psychology. Yes, I understand psychology. Not really here to have a debate today. But I'm saying just have an awareness that energetic, spiritual, emotional, and physical boundaries, especially in this season, heading into winter. Let Mercury retrograde in Capricorn work on your behalf. What is Spirit saying? Let no response be a response. Let a closed door be what it is. It's not going to be a season, you guys, please understand. And the guides want to impress this. This is not going to be a season where we are cracking doors, even a little bit. Oh, what is it like? Five of Pentacles. I'm cold. I need you to utilize the wisdom that resides in your mental body. The High Priestess is very, very wise. So is the King of Cups. Don't be manipulated this season. What is it? What am I hearing? It's cold. I've got to go away. It's cold outside. I really can't stay. Okay, right? No, that's not what we're doing. Okay, so if someone needed to hear this message today, I hope it was helpful. Our ancestors and guides are in the spirit realm, and the astrals are just reiterating, hey, we're working hard out here. Can you back us up on the 3D? Please uphold your boundaries. If you feel like you need some one-on-one work, if you need some encouragement, if you need further, elaboration in the message connected with you, feel free to let me know. But it is just kind of like, again, for whoever needs to hear it, because the things that I was hearing, again, the dream downloads and the astral space is something else. It is very much it is cold outside. Are you not going to let me in? You're going to tell me I cannot walk the path with you? I'm going to freeze out here. All right, well, I didn't put you out here. Somebody's God is really ruthless. And it's kind of been that way in the collective, So I really think that's all that I can say on it, you guys. But I love you and I appreciate you. And again, if it was even just a message that one person needed to hear today to encourage them to do what they need to do, then I'm glad for that. So I don't know. I may do a video for Yule, but we'll see. Oh, I am getting some new tarot cards today. I'm super excited about that because I haven't invested in new tarot cards. Really, I was doing the RV, very minimal life, and just weaned down so much of my stuff. And I have like my core decks that I really have a close relationship with. But anyway, I'm kind of excited to be getting a few new ones. I do get gifted some here and there, but I'm very picky about what I energetically connect with. So I do look forward to that. So I may break those in. We'll see how the energy feels. But I love you guys. Hold it down out there. Okay, stay grounded, stay rooted, stay focused. I'll talk to you later on. Okay, guys. Bye.